So while it's always amazing to open a new library, it's not something we get to do very often. This one in particular really swells the heart. So I'm happy that you're all here with us today, and I'm thrilled that not only are we providing the community with books and Wi-Fi, a recording studio, a teen center that is the largest teen center of all the teen spaces in Brooklyn. And that through our partnership with the Fifth Avenue Committee, we are also able to provide affordable housing, the first time in over 20 years that affordable housing has been built in this neighborhood. And we did that because Fifth Avenue Committee, who is led by the tireless Michelle Delauz, made that happen. So she'll speak to us in a few minutes about that, but please let's give her a round of applause as well. This library is built on a foundation not only of concrete, but also of community input, engagement, and certainly passion. The neighborhood has patiently waited for this branch, and thousands of residents participated in a robust dialogue with the community led by Hester Street and Grain Collective. And in her studio, New York-born Colombian artist Tatiana Arocha created the beautiful art that's behind me, and also the piece that greets you when you walk through the front doors. She works in the Navy Yard, and this just makes my heart soar. I can't tell you how beautiful it is. You'll have to see it all the way up. But thank you, Tatiana. It makes all the difference. One of the most requested features when we talked to the community about what was needed here, and this gives you an idea about just how bad things were before, were electrical outlets. There weren't enough outlets in this library for people to even plug in their computers. So we've got tons of outlets. We've got tons of Wi-Fi. We've tried to address every community need that was voiced. This is important because there are still many members of our communities that are on the wrong side of the digital divide, and they come to the library to get the service that they need because, as you all know, it's pretty difficult to work and live effectively in this city without being connected to the internet. So building a library in New York City is a long and complicated process. And I need to thank some of the many individuals who helped us get here today. First of all, Brooklyn Public Library's Sharon Leahy, Karen Sheehan, Philip Heller, Sonia Covington, Michelle Bonin, Chloe Wasserman, David Wallach, especially Christy Maduro, Carl Henry St. Cyr, the project manager on this library. And I'm so gratified to see some of our former employees who have such a deep stake in this project that they've come to join us this morning as well. Brett Robinson is here, and I think the one who gets the award for the longest traveling plan is, where is she? So anyway, thank you for everybody who made the effort to get here. We also have the support of many Brooklyn Public Library trustees. Thank you to Michael Liebert, who you already heard from, and the trustees who have joined us today. Sarah Mallory is here. I saw Chad Dickerson, Miriam Katowitz, Stephen May, and if I've missed some of you, forgive me. I see Randy Pierce. Who else is around? Anyway, we've got lots of Kathy Wild, lots of Julie Sandorf. We've got Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, who you'll hear from. But anyway, we're gratified that everyone from the community and beyond is here to celebrate this great day. I also want to talk a little bit about the design of this building and the construction. Magnuson Architecture and Planning, who designed the building, and to Carol Lowenson. Carol, where are you? Who has taken a fairly nondescript site and made it into an inspiring space. Any of you who've heard me speak before know that I feel deeply that libraries need to be more than warm in the winter and cool in the summer. They need to inspire us to do the very best work that we can, to provide spaces that allow our minds to wander, to dream, and to plan our future, or just to curl up with a good book. And I've walked the whole building this morning before you arrived. It's come a long way since the last time I was here, and I promise you, these spaces do exactly those things. And Carol, thank you for your vision. Also, thank you to Shamut Design and Construction, who have been great partners through 2 major library construction projects in the last few years. One of the best parts, as I mentioned, of this new building is that we have wonderful neighbors upstairs in the residence of the Sunset Park Apartments, which would not have been possible, as I said, without the hard work of Michelle Delauz.
Thank you, Linda. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you and with the entire Brooklyn Public Library team to realize this incredible vision. Bienvenidos a todos. Thank you all for being here. As Linda said, I'm Michelle Delauz, the Executive Director of the Fifth Avenue Committee, and I'm proud to say that in the last year I also joined the Board of Trustees of the Brooklyn Public Library. So the journey to New York City's first project to combine 100% affordable housing with a 21st century modern library began as an idea that Fifth Avenue Committee had more than 15 years ago. You remember when there was a Metro section of the New York Times printed? We were the top article in 2006. And the vision really was to take underutilized city-owned sites and try to solve 2 crises, right? The crisis of affordable housing and the crisis of the capital needs that exist in Brooklyn libraries, not just Brooklyn Public Library, across the city. And as you know, libraries have become modern-day community centers. And the needs today remain as urgent as they were when the idea was first proposed back in 2006. So completing an innovative project like this takes many, many people, and I too have some folks I need to thank. So a little bit of raising your hand here, and once you have it raised, please keep it raised. So raise your hand if you have supported the idea of public libraries as civic hubs with the possibility of meeting New York City's housing and other needs. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you attended or helped organize the community input sessions of what this library should look like. Did you approve the project as a Community Board 7 member? As a FAC or BPL board member? As the former city councilman? Did you oversee or manage the project in some way? Lots of hands need to go up with that. Did you design the building? Did you design the library? Did you fund the project? Many hands, many, many hands. Did you draft the legal documents that enabled the myriad of project pieces to come together? Did you construct the building, or did you do the build out of the library? Are you the artist responsible for this beautiful art? Did you help tenants move? Yes, absolutely beautiful. Did you help tenants move into their new homes? Do you manage the property? I've got a lot of property management team here. Did you put the books on the shelves, design the library programming, or prepare this incredible space for the public? Are you a tenant of the building, or are you a library patron? Raise your hands. Look around. Where are all those hands? People, look around. You've all played important roles in bringing us to today's incredible success. So thank you all. I have some special thank yous for Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer, who, as HPD Commissioner, at the time helped close on the project construction financing. It was her team that helped FAC and BPL work through the details of honoring Andrew Carnegie's vision and support of library in a 21st century configuration that helps New Yorkers today. I want to thank HPD staff, in particular Dan Moran, who was here from day one on the project. And the project really wouldn't have happened without HPD. They provided more than $8.75 million for the residential portion of the building. I also want to thank HCR Commissioner Ruth Ann Visnaskis. She and her team provided nearly $10 million in low-income housing tax credits, as well as $1.5 million from the Community Investment Fund for both the library and the residential portions. This project, as Linda said, represents the first new 100% affordable housing in the community for families in 20 years. And it's desperately needed. I want to thank our many funders. We have Bank of New York Mellon, in particular, Clarence Burley, the National Equity Fund. I know we have several representatives from NEF here today. From the Community Preservation Corporation, and of course from the New York City Retirement Systems and from NYSERDA. These are all the funders and sources of financing for the nearly $38 million residential portion of this project. So thank you so much. I want to thank Jimmy and Charles and Megan from Galaxy, the general contractor for the residential portion of the building. You're responsible for creating and completing a beautiful building in the midst of a pandemic with a couple curveballs thrown your way, so we really, really appreciate that. We want to thank Chris Jones for Bangaston Architectural and Planning, the architect for the overall building, and of course Linda has mentioned, of course, the folks from Mitchell Gorblia. I just want to say that I asked Chris recently what it was like to work together, and he said it was an incredible process to have two teams who are expert in what they each do come together to realize this vision. So thank you so much. I want to thank our owner's rep, Galai from Works in Progress Associates, and of course Neil Falcone from Chicago Title and Courtney Horowitz from Strata Ventures. A huge thank you to Christine Coletta and the incredible team at Hershey, Singer and Epstein who helped with a thicket of legal issues that this project represented as the first of its kind in New York City. I also want to thank, of course, all of our local elected officials for their unwavering support for affordable housing and for the vision of bringing, of course, these two public uses together. You know, the affordable housing crisis we are in has solutions. It has solutions. And it's really two things. It comes down to two things: political will and investment. And that is absolutely something that we can do when we come together. I want to thank Mayor Adams, who has former Brooklyn Borough President committed $500,000 in city capital funds. And mil gracias to former council member Carlos Menchaca, who not only committed $3.1 million of city capital funds when he was council member, he did a lot more than that. He negotiated with the NYPD in order to give up storage space for the interim library. You remember that, right? I mean, he was basically doing block and tackle for FAC and BPL for a good part of 2 years to get this project done. So thank you, Carlos. It's so great to have you here. And thank you to the FAC and Neighbors Helping Neighbors Board of Directors. You have always known that to help the people in the communities that we serve and to help solve New York City's affordable housing crisis, we need to be bold and we need a lot of perseverance. My biggest thank yous go to the FAC teams who oversaw and executed every aspect of this project and who will continue to steward these incredible assets on behalf of the community for years to come. So Bill Yates, I know he's here someplace, FAC's Director of Housing Development. He jumped in January of 2020 and thoughtfully and skillfully problem solved every aspect that needed to be problem solved. A lot of times affordable housing development and community development is just one huge problem solving exercise. And if you believe in Kismet, his mom, Maggie, who is here with him today, along with his dad, Bob, she was a school librarian and grew up in Sunset Park and remembers coming to the old Carnegie branch as a child, right? So this project has meant a lot more to him than just, it's personal and professional for him. I want to thank Charmaine Marizan and our lottery team. I know Sophia's here today. They oversaw the affordable housing lottery. Over 60,000 people applied for the 49 apartments that are upstairs. Nearly 4,000 of those folks are just from the local community. Jaime Torres, who was here, one of the tenants, who was a beneficiary of that lottery, lifelong Sunset Park resident, and have been bouncing from place to place, renting rooms. Now, he remembers going to the library all of his life as well. He has a stable home now on top of one of his favorite places. And I really want to thank Zuli Roland and the Asset and Property Management team at Fifth Avenue Committee. We have Andrew, Stella, Sonia, Manny, Jacob, Angel, and many more. These are all dedicated property management professionals who care deeply about providing quality, affordable housing to low-income people. Thank you again to Linda and her team, including David, Michelle, Roxana, of course, Kelly, Carl, Karen, and I especially want to thank Christine Maduro for being true partners throughout. It is so satisfying to know that we've built assets that are going to help sustain the community for generations to come. And I'd like to introduce Julio Peña III. Julio wears many hats. He is on the FAC board. He's chair of the FAC affiliate Neighbors Helping Neighbors. He's also chair of Community Board 7. But more than anything, he's a huge Sunset Park booster, and he's going to introduce our tenant.
Thank you, Michelle. As Michelle mentioned, my name is Julio Peña III. I am chair of the board for Community Board 7. I'm also chair of the board for Neighbors Helping Neighbors, and also a board member for Fifth Avenue Committee, on top of my day job. And I am incredibly excited to be here today and seeing all of the folks who have touched this project from creation to implementation to now opening the doors. As a board member, as a community board member, I was incredibly excited to support this project. For many years, this community has been disinvested and not really prioritized, and in order for us to change that, we have to be bold and creative in our solutions, and this is one of them. A brand new library that is twice the size with affordable housing units above. And as Michelle mentioned, over 60,000 people applied for the 49 units. Oops, that was me. And that just reiterates the urgency of the moment, and we need to be continually be creative in how we how we solve our community challenges. I'm incredibly excited to introduce a resident of one of the units upstairs, a lifelong Sunset Parker, Miguelina.
Good morning, all. My name is Miguelina, and I live upstairs with my 4 years old. I'm nervous. Yes, me and my son, we live upstairs. I also work for the community in Sunset Park. I work for a company that gives out microloans for small businesses, especially for women. I grew up here, so I applied so many lotteries, and thank God I got called in this one, and it's special to me because it's the area that I grew up. Yes, the residents from the building, we had a tour and about a month ago, and we are so excited for the grand opening. My son and I are very excited. Thank you.
Thank you all. What a great day. As part of this effort, we were very fortunate to work with so many wonderful elected officials and leaders who recognize and champion the important role that libraries play in every neighborhood. I'm going to ask Deputy Mayor Maria Torres Springer to say a few words, and she will be followed by Borough President Antonio Reynoso, Assembly Member Marcela Mateus, State Senator Andrew Gourmandes, State Library Chair Yuan Chu, and former council member, the wonderful Carlos Menchaca.
Thank you so much, Linda. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. First, another round of applause for Miguelina, please. Congratulations. It was fantastic to hear from you. My heart is totally full to be here with all of you. There is such incredible energy and pride and inspiration in this room. But most of all, what I can really feel is really the love that you all have for this community, for this library, for this project, and for each other. And so for us to have played, for me to have played a small part in this extraordinary accomplishment by two amazing institutions. I like a lot of institutions in New York, but on the top of the list are the Brooklyn Public Library and the Fifth Avenue Committee. A huge, huge round of applause, please. For these incredible leaders and clearly your amazing teams. As Michelle mentioned, the city provided close to $10 million in city capital, and a lot of amazing public servants at HPD, at HDC, certainly also with our colleagues at the state, played their part. And this project is not just an innovative, interesting one. I really do think that it's a model, and hopefully it's the first of many, many more that we are going to do across the city. Because as Michelle mentioned, there are twin challenges that we are facing across every neighborhood. It is the largely unabated housing crisis that keeps too many New Yorkers feeling stressed about their future. And it's also the crisis of making sure, especially in post-pandemic times, that the social infrastructure that exists across different neighborhoods stays strong, stays resilient, and these continue to be the type of places that bring people together in a time, of course, that we all know right now that is incredibly hard. Now, I often say that projects like this are neither a marathon nor a sprint. They're a relay. And given the number of hands that went up, different leaders across different roles, that is certainly true. But I have to say that projects like this don't happen if not for the steady, resolute, steadfast leadership of particular people. And so in that respect, I definitely want to give a shout out to Michelle Delaus and to Linda Johnson for really sticking with it. I remember the time when the project passed ULURP, and certainly thank you, Councilmember Menchaca and so many other partners. I remember when we financed it. I remember the groundbreaking. And so to be here today with all of you as this incredible institution and this incredible place opens is truly gratifying. Again, thanks to the HPD and HDC teams for being such a huge part of this. But I'll end here. Michelle asked earlier for people to raise their hands if you were part of it. And so many hands went up. And places like this don't happen if not for the work of many hands and many hearts. And so as we, not just in this neighborhood, but across the city, try to do this same thing of building and nurturing incredible institutions and providing housing for New Yorkers, I hope we'll continue to be partners on that mission. So congratulations to everyone. It's such an incredible day.
Buenos dias. Buenos dias. My name is Antonio Reynoso, and I have the great pleasure of being the president of the greatest borough in the city of New York, which is Brooklyn. And I'm so happy to be here in Sunset Park. And I do want to say something, because I think I have a slightly different perspective on how this came about than a lot of people in this room. Because you would think with the size and the population of folks in the room that this was easy. You would think that the support was unwavering. And it wasn't. I was a council member when this project was moving through, and I had to sit next to Carlos Menchaca quite a bit. And you know, a library that was going to be twice as large, affordable housing. It's like we could get this done in a month. It's not the case. It wasn't the case. But the outcome is here. And sometimes the process is tough. But this is what we can get when we just commit and have political will, which is what somebody said, political will, which is deeply important. Carlos Menchaca expended a ton of political capital to make this happen. A lot of it, in a project that should have been easy. And I want to talk about what a library is. Kids, I want to talk about children. Children come in here and they open books and they see something that they've never seen before. They experience something that they've never seen before. They're introduced to ideas, newness, change, different, being something positive in a library. We, as a community, and you know, we're from New York, we're from Brooklyn, we've been beaten down. We don't believe as well as children do. Libraries help us maintain that for them. Don't let our hardened scars and our coldness seep down to the younger generation. Let them believe that things like this are normal, that things like this are possible, and that if there's another opportunity for it to happen, that they could be the leaders that make it happen quicker. That's the beauty of what a library can do. That is the beauty of what we can do when we believe, when we love, when we love. And I want to say that because I end all my statements and speeches and whatever you want to call it with a quote from Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G., who said, "Spread love is the Brooklyn way." And I want to say that it means a lot more now, because this is not the first or last library that we have opened or are going to open, but this one was particularly meaningful to me because my brother Carlos Menchaca in the council was struggling, deeply struggling to be here, right? To be at this moment. So it's a task to Sunset Park, because I love you all because you're Brooklyn. I love you all. That we love and that we work to build, because it is much easier to destroy than it is to build. And in Brooklyn, we're not going to do the easy stuff. We're going to do the difficult stuff the right way with a foundation of love. Thank you so much for having me here today. And thank you to everyone that did work. I didn't give any money because I wasn't borough president back then. But I get the luxury of ribbon cutting, so I want to thank Mayor Adams and his $500,000 that he gave for this project. So thank you so much for even having me here today. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. I am Assembly Member Marcela Matenes, and I am the first immigrant Peruvian in the state legislature. I just want to share a little bit about what this library means to me. As someone who grew up in the neighborhood since the age of 5, I came here and the library allowed me to imagine what was past and beyond those 4 walls. At a time when I was unemployed and didn't have a computer, I came early and there would be a line of people similar to me wanting to use a computer just to get online and look for a job or print out a resume. And as a mom, it gave me the opportunity to bring my daughter here and to continue to teach her about our culture and the diversity that is and makes New York City so beautiful. I had the pleasure to come and take a tour of the library a couple of weeks ago, and I was floored. Floored because as a longtime member of Sunset Park, we often feel like we're neglected, that we're left behind, and that nobody's really paying attention to the struggles that we go through every day. I'm proud of what we've been able to accomplish as a community and what we're able to give back to the folks that are waiting outside to come in, to the community who deserves a state-of-the-art library, a community that deserves every option to succeed, and a community that deserves and needs to make sure that our children are prepared for the future, and this library is going to allow us to do that. And a reminder of the work that we need to continue to do. 49 units and 60,000 applications. Why housing isn't the #1 issue for each and every politician, I do not know. I've always said that housing is the foundation of our life, and if our foundation isn't solid, we cannot build upon it. There is a lot more work to do. It took way too long to create this project, but it continues to teach us where we can do better, and we must. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I thought I was just coming for a library card giveaway. I must have gotten a mistake on my schedule. I'm State Senator Andrew Gennardis, and I am so thrilled to be here, not only to represent this community. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I represent the greatest number of Brooklyn Public Library branches of any member of the state legislature, so I'm incredibly proud of that. And this is my son James, who just turned 6 months. His brother Evan got his library card when he turned 1 year old, because libraries are incredibly important. They were incredibly important to me, to my family growing up, for all the reasons we just heard. And I think about a project like this, and I think about what it took, what it does take, and I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines of verse by Edgar Allan Poe. He says, "Long I stood there in the darkness peering, wondering, doubting, fearing, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before." And to make something like this happen, that's going to fall again? Yeah. To make something like this happen, you have to be crazy enough to dream dreams that no one else believes is possible. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. And that's what makes today so special. And this is just the beginning. Everyone has already said we have to do more of these. The deputy mayor said we got to do more of these. I can think of a lot of public library branches that can use some housing, and then we'll be able to cash Antonio's check like he just promised. So I'll be right there with you, buddy. Don't worry. I got you. I'll help you hold it. So we're going to celebrate today this incredible achievement, the fact that we created this community space, this depository of knowledge, this place to house people and give people a home, not just a house, a home, as Marcella said. And then tomorrow we're going to wake up and we're going to get back to the drawing board and think about how we're going to do this again and again and again, everywhere possible, because there's no reason why we can't do this everywhere. Thank you so much. Congratulations to Linda, Michelle, and everyone that helped make today a reality. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Linda. Good morning, friends of libraries and Sunset Park. It's a beautiful morning to celebrate this great value asset for our Sunset Park communities. I am State Senator Ewan Chu, also chair for State Committee of Libraries. It's a great thing to celebrate here. We all can agree libraries is beyond books, right? Library is a public space. If you're just newborn, you're parents who have a newborn kids, you want to bring the baby here for toddler time. If you're a student, you want to come to libraries to do your homework, to do your research. If you're, as our assembly member said, if you're an immigrant, you come here. If you're looking for a job, you use the facility here to learn ESA, to learn English, to learn the program, or to use the facility or Wi-Fi to do job interview, to print out your resume. Or if you're seniors, you come here just hang out for your socialization, to spend time with your friends, to read newspapers, to enjoy this beautiful settings, to expand your social life. It's quality of life here. This is open to everyone, and I cannot thank everyone here for your commitment to make this happen. It takes a generation to make this bill. We can make this process sooner. And yes, I agree with Michelle. It's political will. So I fully committed. Linda knows, fully committed. We need a strong investment in our local and public libraries, and with the Borough President's help, this is a beautiful example to expand and duplicate. We need to make this more like this. 60,000 applicants for 49 units. We can do better. We can absolutely do better. So it's a full commitment here, and just want to say congratulations, Sunset Park. Thank you.
Felicidades, Sunset Park. How are we? It is so great to be here with all of you. I want to invoke the neighbors of Sunset Park. If you live in Sunset Park, raise your hand. These are your folks who have been pushing with their hands and their hearts so that the institutions that are here to support affordable housing, you're hearing from them, the libraries, to do better. It is these hands that we saw just now raised that are allowing us to believe what I believe, which is you don't get to do this unless there's civic engagement and participation at every levels. And I just want to highlight some of those moments that ensured that we got what we got. One is that this library was one of the busiest libraries in the entire system. And you heard about the people who've come in to make that happen. It was those hands that said, we need a better library. It is that insane fear that monthly happens to families still in Sunset Park that don't know they're going to make that check for rent, displacing them. And we have so many families that are displaced that are not here celebrating today. And it is those hands that push us. It was the hands that said, hey, you know that municipal court that the PD is in? Get them out of here. It is those hands that we said yes to, and we made sure that that happened. And not only that, this project needed some gap funding a few years, but one of those years, participatory budgeting had this as an item so that people as young as our elementary school students that voted in PB were able to say yes to more funding to ensure that this happened. Thank you, PB. Now, I'm going to give it back to you. This library and this project are still in your hands. Ensure that the accountability is there to make this dream continue for generations to come. Because it is only going to be in your hands, folks, if you live here and elections matter, to keep pushing us to do better. Thank you, and I love you, Sunset Park.
A lot of love, a lot of love. I'm honored to introduce New York State Housing and Community Renewal Commissioner Ruth Ann Visnauskas. Ruth Ann is a talented agency executive under whose leadership Governor Hochul has committed $25 billion for a comprehensive housing plan to create or preserve 100,000 affordable homes across the state. I know that she's very eager to work with elected officials, many of who have said they're ready to go, advocates and community development professionals to do even more to meet New York State's urgent affordable housing need. Ruth Ann.
Thank you, Michelle, and hi, everyone. I hate to be in the tail end of a long list of really energetic speakers, but I do feel very energized. But I'm delighted to be here on behalf of Governor Hochul. I was actually, for real? Oh, okay. I mean, if it goes, we have to leave. That's the rules. I was really delighted to be here in 2019 for the groundbreaking. And, it can be really hard to imagine when you're at those events, actually what the building is going to look like. And you think, oh, it sort of looks nice on paper, but it's not really going to look like that. And wow, it really looks like that. And while it matters what happens on the inside, I think as sort of governmental funders, we want people to feel like we really care about what these buildings look like. We care about the space. We think that the magic that's going to go on in here should be reflected in sort of the magic of the architecture. So thank you to the architects and to the team for really building a space that kind of hits it out of the park. I would make 3 quick points just to sort of reinforce some of the things people have said. As the deputy mayor said, leadership. While and that is at all levels, that matters to get these projects done. So both to Michelle and to Linda, it's really hard to get from 2019 and through COVID to a project like this, and it doesn't happen on its own. So thank you both for being incredible partners for us at the state. To all of the electeds who have spoken, I don't know why, right? Everywhere I go across the state, elected officials say we need housing, and yet it is so hard to get it through the process. So I thank you for the leadership that has been here today and that really pushes for, every 50 unit counts, and we need it block by block and neighborhood by neighborhood and city and village and town by town across the state. So I thank you for that. My second point is just about sort of the role of the state. We like to show up with checks, not because that sort of looks cool, but because really money is what drives these projects and gets them done. If you've ever seen an affordable housing budget, it has, 9, 10, 12, 14, 16 different sources of funds that come together to make it happen. But we are really here to support organizations like the Fifth Avenue Committee. We are here at the state to support organizations like the Brooklyn Public Library. We are here to support Community Board 7 and the other community boards in Brooklyn and Bronx and New York City and in the rest of the state. And we are here to support communities like Sunset Park, places where low-income New Yorkers are struggling to live stably and struggling to find affordable housing. And we want to be here, and we haven't been here in a while in Sunset Park funding an affordable housing project. And we want to be back. And it's incredible sort of double win when we get to do housing and a library at the same time. Who wouldn't want to live? I feel like if my kids lived upstairs in this building, they would just live actually down here in this library. So who wouldn't want that? And as neighborhoods like Sunset Park change and expand, it's really essential that we preserve existing housing, that we create new opportunities so that the neighborhood can remain diverse and remain inclusive and remain vibrant place that it is. The last little thing I would say, which has also been said, is we have done a lot of work in Brooklyn in the last 5 years. We've invested in over 7,000 units of affordable housing here, which is great, but oh boy, do we need more. And so we are proud to have projects like this as part of our plan, but would certainly encourage and shout to everyone everywhere to please, please, please keep advocating for more affordable housing. We want to be doing as much as we can. We want to partner with local communities to get that done. And congratulations, this is really incredible. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner. I want to also recognize Myra Molino, who's here as a representative of Corey Goldman. So thank you for coming. Congressman Goldman, sorry. It's now really a great pleasure of mine to introduce to you a partner, an unbelievably committed librarian, somebody who exemplifies everything that we would hope for in a library, and how great that Sunset Park has such a person. And she's been a wonderful partner and advisor to me along the way. Please, a big round of applause for the neighborhood librarian here in Sunset Park, Roxana Benvin.
So Miguelina, I'm happy to hear that I'm not the only one who's very nervous to be here. It's such a joy. So I wanted to say to everybody. What? Marie? I hope everybody's okay. Okay. So I want to start to say it like that. Si se pudo. Okay? Si se pudo. Because like many others who have been before me, this took a long time and a lot of effort from the community. This is such a wonderful occasion to celebrate today the culmination of a visionary project between a partnership between the Brooklyn Public Library, the Linda's actually leaders, and the Fifth Avenue Committee. This is something that the community in Sunset Park and Brooklyn deserves to have. But Sunset Park has been waiting for a library that is a state of the art. Okay? And this is what you're getting today in here. There are so many people that we need to thank for this amazing opportunity to welcome everyone through these doors. Everyone, because that's what the public library is all about. It's a place where everybody is welcome. Everybody is your space. It is not. So this is something that the library has the vision to bring about. It is something that is at the core of the Brooklyn Public Library. Okay? I want to come together in here and they put together all the leadership of the Brooklyn Public Library, our elected officials, our partner organizations, and there are many, so many that I cannot actually name all of them. Know that I know you, and then I know that you know all the input that you had and all the contribution that you have for this to make a reality. But I want also to say to the community, to everybody, to Rosanna, to Rosanna, to all the other members of the groups that they were coming and they were speaking on behalf of this project. The parents of the little child that was coming to our first 5 years program, and they took the time to go to city council, to the president's office, and then while having their babies, and we were entertaining and singing while we were waiting to present and let them know how important this project was for them. So it is something that we need to do and continue to do in here. This is not, like it was mentioned, like Mr. Menchaca, and I always call him Mr. Menchaca. Okay. And it was mentioned also by the president of the borough. This is something, just the first of many projects that had to come, but we need to get involved. Don't expect somebody else to do it for you. Do not, because it will never happen. So this is something that I want to emphasize. This is a project that it had not happened also within the input from the community. It's everybody got involved in here. So for those who were involved, whose many names are not, I'm gonna be able to mention in here, the past, the present, and the always, because there's always someone who's supporting, the right thing in here. The things that we're supposed to be, all those projects that are being coming and being bring to the community. For those, I'm saying thank you. But more than anything in here, I'm trembling, so I need my team in here, my support. So please. Because as much as I'm thanking everybody in here, this would have not been possible without all my. For those who are here, the team in here, to the leadership team, Allison Wong, Xavier Herrera, to the amazing children team, Anna, Miss Anna, and they're working as usual. Miss Anna, Paloma, and Samantha continue from day one, working already with them, enjoying the time with the kids. To our young adult librarian, Amanda. To our amazing also senior librarian for adult services, Jay. Yes. To all of them in that, Donato. Without him, we would be lost with a technology expert. To DM, who's always, what can I do? What can I do? DM, where are you? Okay, helping and working over there. So, to also all our part-timers. Key and important for us is also, we have in here, do we have them here? Okay, let me see. Okay, they're probably working too. Okay, ready? So I'm gonna say to our amazing part-timers, for me to say thank you to Jessica, Naomi, Angel, Ruben. This is possible because of them. But this will continue to be possible because of this thing. Okay? Because of this thing. We are here not only you will find a friendly and knowledgeable team, you're gonna find advocates for the right to read, which is important to us. Advocates for the right to dream. Advocates for having the opportunity, just the opportunity to succeed. So I want to thank everybody also in our different departments. It was mentioned before names that I can then, like Christy, and I want to thank also Carl's, and want to thank David and Michelle, many of the people who are working in here, but also I want to thank those who were here part of the Sunset Park branch and who are come and join us, Adriana, Akira, and then Kokila and David. They were members of the branch, key members of the Sunset Park branch. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you because we want to see this. This is your library. And we are here to serve you, okay? We are here to provide you no average customer service. We are going here to offer you the best, the most outstanding customer service that you deserve. So thank you all.
Thank you, Roxana. It's so great. We're actually going to cut a ribbon. But before we do, I just want to say, only in Brooklyn. First of all, let me just point out, there's a brand new collection of material in this library. I've already seen some books on the shelves that are really difficult to find anywhere in the system. So I'm going to refrain from borrowing them so that the opportunity will be there for you. But I also want to say, only in Brooklyn, from Edgar Allan Poe to Biggie. I love you guys. Let's go cut a ribbon.